Hi guys, my name's Calamity Joe. Welcome back to a new Minecraft YouTube live stream on the Calamity Joe YouTube channel. I do apologise. We streamed a little bit earlier on and I was not aware that the mic had gone off. I was totally unaware that my mic had been muted by... I was totally unaware that my mic had muted. Hold on a minute. It's gone really quiet. There we go. That should be better now. Yeah, I do apologise, guys. It muted my mic got muted by my software. My mic got muted by my software. Yeah, so we've rebooted the stream because if I did keep that stream, nobody would watch it because it'd be 12 minutes. Because it was 12 minutes before we noted before you told me. So thank you, Tyrese. I've done that before, but not that long. But I've realised before 12 minutes, which is slightly embarrassing that I didn't realise. I did wonder why no one seemed to respond to me asking them how they were, and I never thought anything of it. I just thought, oh, these people aren't talkative, and it's because they couldn't hear me. Blimey. Oh, there we go. So we've only got one piece of stone left, but at the moment we are putting. At the moment, we're putting some flooring in. At the moment, we're putting some flooring in here. We've taken out the dirt and the stone. We actually most of the stone and dirt that was in here. We initially with the grass. When the grass is in the inventory, but we've used practically all the stone to go into the floor, which is probably the most beneficial. Even though I've got Wi-Fi. Hello, Ghost Fort. Welcome to the stream. Were you in the stream just now, which for 12 minutes we didn't, which just happened before this, Ghost Fort? If you were, I do apologise. We were there for 12 minutes. We were there for 12 minutes, and I wasn't aware that. We were there for 12 minutes, and I wasn't aware that my mic had gone off. Yeah. We were streaming for 12 minutes and I wasn't aware that my mic had stopped and wasn't working. It was on mute, which is slightly embarrassing. I have done it before. I have done that before, guys, where I haven't noticed that my mic was on mute. Anyway, we're going to go up here a minute. I need to go into the doghouse because there was a chest. The other side, there was a chest here, and I was hoping it would have some stone in it. We can probably get rid of this now, actually. There's a Decepted remodeled this bedroom, so all that bits, all that stuff there, like the crafting table and things like that, they can go in there, like rabbit's foot. Ooh. Decepted loves rabbit's foot. Right, oh, cobblestone. I wish we had some stone in here, which we do. I think it's just started to rain, so we can turn this into stone bricks. How are you, Tyrese, and how are you, Ghostfort? I asked everybody how they were on the stream, on the last stream, but I was totally unaware of the mic wasn't working. There we go. So, all good. There we go. So, we're going to jump up here, jump across. We need to go to the Stogolo. Actually, should we take a detour a second to the might as well take a detour to this bed a second because it's night time. Guys, I've played over 5,000 things now. I've played over 5,000 hours of this Minecraft version. I've played 5,500 hours of this Minecraft version. I've played 5,530 hours of this version. Yeah, but that's since 2017. That's in 8 years. That's in 8 years, though. That's not exactly, you know, he's played this Minecraft version. It's gone up a lot recently because, you know, I've been streaming a lot more. In the last year, I've streamed a lot in the last... I've streamed a lot more than I used to in the last... Because there's more people watching, but also more of you are enjoying the live streams. So whenever I used to stream, we'd get roughly 20-30 people watch the stream. When I used to stream, we'd get 20 or 30 people watch the stream, and we wouldn't get any comments. I'd stream for an hour, but then I'd get bored because there was no interaction. But, you know, 3 people are currently watching now. 3 people have watched this stream in the first 5 minutes, which is just incredible. If you get what I mean, a lot more people are watching this stuff, which is what I prefer it like that. I prefer when we got people here. Hey, you have a great week. Thank you. That's really kind of you. I should have a good week. I'm trying to do this at the same time. So I'm trying to plan some of my Christmas content, because I'm trying to plan and start shooting some of my Christmas content. So we shot a little bit over the last couple of days. Here we go. So, because I don't know if everyone know, I don't know whether you guys know this, but you never shoot, if you're shooting something, if you're shooting like a Christmas video, you never shoot it at Christmas time, because you want to have time to edit it and prepare. If you're shooting multiple videos, you want to have time to prepare, edit, plan, schedule. Unless you're doing content that doesn't require effort. Hello, Average Brain Cell. Welcome to the stream. How are you, Average Brain Cell? Right, where are we, guys? This is the last little chunk. I hope that's good to hear. Hello, Pedro. I'm gonna have to go and click on your channel to read your name. It's quite hard to read. Hello, Pedro and Madeline. Welcome to the stream. No, Madeline. Welcome to the stream. So, okay, so if we do this, we can go straight under there. Now, let's just leave a hole here a minute. Let's just leave this bit here a second. Oh, hold on, there's a stone burnt there. If I go to here, I just want to make sure we got a weight up in case I fall in whilst we're putting these last bits of stone in. I didn't realise that there was like a lake under here. Hello, Tony Casino, welcome to the stream. Joe, my live stream was crazy yesterday. In what terms was it crazy, Ghost for? Hello, Rafa, welcome to the stream. Right, let's just finish that off, guys. So, we can proudly say that our snow globe has a floor. We can proudly say that the snow globe now has a floor, which we can put up. We can put some other floors in, but not quite. Like I got so my subs. It was just fun playing with fans. I used to do that. Let's make a trend for Calamity Joe. Well, yeah, the trend should be, can we hit 8K by my birthday? My birthday's in December, guys. And I'm aiming to see if I can hit 8K by then. We're 845 away. I want to hit 8,000 by my birthday. We're 845 away from the target. YouTube seems to predict. YouTube doesn't predict just to be able to do it. YouTube predicts us to hit 7,500 by early December. Let's make a trend. Yeah, make a trend. Right. Let's go think about where we can put this stuff. Everybody wants to rule the world. We can dump this dirt in here. Dirt is something that we don't entirely need. Type clammative with your eyes closed. Yes, it's a good song. I have it in my playlist, and when I'm writing my novel, when I'm writing books, I have music through my headphones. Everybody wants to rule the world. Can't remember many of the lyrics. I can't remember lyrics of songs, guys. I can't remember. Can I join? This isn't Bedrock, I'm afraid. This is Legacy Console Edition. It's neither Bedrock nor Java. So this isn't a cross-play version, I'm afraid. I've just dropped the controller. Were any of you guys in the stream the other day when I got up to find I stood up to find my notepad, and as I was standing up, my controller slid off the table and landed slap bang on the top of my knee. Do you have Bedrock? I do, but this isn't Bedrock. Oh. And you write books too? I do write books. There's a link in the Nightbot has a link to the science fiction series that I write. I've published 3 at the moment. I've published three books at the moment. I'm publishing a science fiction series, guys. I've published 3 at the moment. Book 4 is on my laptop, and hopefully I can have published next year. As it stands at the moment, I am working on it. I've just hit 50,000 words, so we're roughly at 2,000. We're roughly at 200 pages. You wrote books too. You can't push them to. Why 19? Why 19? Why not 18? So, because if you're that's confused. Why can't you publish them to your 19? Meant to type 18. What, you can, if you write books, is it just out of curiosity? Is it your own story that you've wrote? Gotta go. Goodbye, Ghost Fort. I have one that's 3,000. Blimey, is that the book, or is that the whole book, or one chapter? Because it's interesting. That would be. I think that would be classed as a short story. I think 3,000 words. which still a story. Ha. It's the whole book I'm still working on. Yes, I'm currently working on a book at the moment. I'm writing a book at the moment. I'm writing a science fiction story. It's a follow-up to 3 I've already published. I'm currently working on it. I'm on chapter 15. I've wrote 50,000 at the moment, but I think it's going to be pushing 75,000 by the time I've finished. I've got another 6 or 7 chapters to write. 50,000's quite small for a book. The last Harry Potter book had nearly 500,000. One of the Harry Potter books nearly had 500,000. I think with this book I'm writing, do you write or type it? Well, if you publish a book, it has to be typed. Well, but writing and typing are exactly the same thing. If you write something, do you write it handheld? Do I write it on computer or handheld? On paper or thing? Because writing and typing are exactly the same thing. When you type, you write. Do I write it on paper or laptop? Or keyboard? I mean, for a rough draft, bit of both. Normally I'll type it, but if I'm really confused, normally I'll type it, but I'll be writing it. Sorry, my back's just had a bit of a. I've just had a bit of a spasm in my back, in the nerve. There we go. Normally I'll type, but then if I'm... Hold on a minute, where's my notepad? I'm not sure where I've put my notepad, where I moved it to last night, but I was writing part of it. I do write... there it is. I do write part of the chapters in... So I'm currently working on chapter 16 of this book, and I do write it in my handwriting, but it's recommended for some people to type it. Instead, if you're trying to write out a rough draft, some people have really bad handwriting. Some people have really, really bad handwriting, so I do both. I type it, I write the ideas down, but then I type. Yeah, I've been writing books. Well, I've been writing books since I was 10 years old. I've been writing stories since I was 10 years old, but I published my first novel, my first book last year, in 2023, I mean, so 2 years ago. I don't have really bad handwriting, it's just, I write really small. So, my handwriting's not, like, very bad. It's just people find it hard to read because I write it so small. It's weird. I can't write big, guys. I cannot write big. No. Do I have an illustrator? No, because I don't have an illustrator because I didn't publish my book. I don't have an illustrator because I didn't publish my book. My handwriting sucks. Yeah, my handwriting though is just. I write really small, so even though it can be neat, which sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, people are never going to be able to read it just because it's too small. Hello, JJ Games. Yeah, what was I going to say, guys? So, no, oh yeah, I don't have an illustrator, Charles Hip. I don't have an illustrator because I self-published my novels. So I did everything myself. Welcome to your life. Turning. Sorry. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior. Turn your back on Mother Nature. Everybody wants to rule the world. It's my own design. Great song. How can I join you? This is Legacy Console Edition. And also, I'm not playing with people on the stream. Oh my god. People can only play with me if they have this version of Minecraft. And this version's like really hard to get. And practically impossible. Yeah, so I published my first novel in 2023. It was a story called Archipelago. Yeah, it was a story called Archipelago. And I don't have an illustrator because I self-published it. If you self-publish, basically you do everything yourself. And if you self-publish, you don't have to go through a traditional publishing house. It's called Amazon KDP. Basically, you do everything yourself. Basically, all the Amazon publish it for free. Amazon publish it for you. You obviously it's self-published. You've self-published it through Amazon, so Amazon publish it for you. Basically, you get a certain amount of the profit. Amazon get a little bit. So, if I sell my book for in fiction books, yeah, that's what I do. Well, I write anything. I write anything that pops in my head. So I wrote a graphic horror novel recently and published that. Well, I entered that into a competition. I wrote that for a competition, so I made it as graphic as possible. Which was, did you post a new vid? Did I post a new vid? Yes, I published a short last night. Oh, God. I have 27 books. I've just lying around. 27? Jesus. Am I late? No, Skatepunk, you're not late. I started this stream about 20 minutes ago, but I did a previous stream for 10 minutes, but then I ended it because I suddenly realised that the mic wasn't on after 12 minutes. Oh my god. Sorry, there was a bit... Also, how are you? I'm really good. How are you? 27 books. Is that it? But are they like genuine books? Charles Hip. Are they like 20 books with like Are they like short stories or just genuine, really long stories? It's a short from the 30th of October 2024. What did I upload on the 30th of October 2024? I can't remember. I need to film more content. No, they're long. Blimey. I've got loads I want to write. I've got a couple I want to write, but I've got one I want to write called American Emperor, and it was about a US president that in the last year of his term tries to find any sort of way possible to get him to stay in office, which is quite an interesting concept. I didn't base it on the current president because I wrote it before he had. I wrote the idea down before he had. Well, before he'd announced that he was running for president again. That was an interesting concept that I wanted to write. Yeah, that one I uploaded twice. I have done that before, guys. I have some shorts that I didn't think did very well. Sometimes I'll re-upload them. But yeah, I've got loads of stories in my head that I would like to write. But I want to finish Dawn of Planets first. I want to finish the Dawn of Planets series first. I want to finish the Dawn of Planets series first. Ha ha ha. Ugh. I want to finish the Dawn of Planets science fiction series first, I think. Which I don't know, guys, because there's four. I'm writing book 4, but I have mapped out book 5. Wow, it's an interesting concept. No. Interesting. Hello, Ultimate Empire and Stream. I'm writing on right now about an alliance between US and a different multiverse of humans, and we find out how to time travel. So far it's fire. Interesting. Yeah. I'm currently working on Dawn of Planets, so it takes place just Dawn of Planets 1's War. So Dawn of Planets 1's War takes place from Dawn of Planets The Gathering Storm. No, because this is Legacy Console Edition. The Mace wasn't added for years after this was discontinued. Yeah, I'm currently working on Dawn of Planets 1's War, which is the 4th story in the Dawn of Planets series. So the main character, Agent 1, is the head of the military in... Turn off you, bobbing. I don't know what it's done. I don't see what that's done. I can't remember what that says. Have to go, but I said I'll probably join in like an hour or so. That's alright. Your hand doesn't move now. Yeah, I totally wouldn't have noticed that. I didn't even notice the hand moves. La 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 la. Thank you to the people who subscribe, by the way. As it stands, we're aiming to hit 8k. We're aiming to hit 8k by my birthday, guys. We're aiming to hit 8k by my birthday, which is in December. And as it stands, we're 944 away. We're 844 away, I mean. We're 844 away from the goal. And we want to see if we can hit it by the end of the month. By the end of December, I mean. We want to see if we can hit... We want to see if we can hit 7,500 by the end of this month. As it stands at the moment, we are... As it stands at the moment, we are 344 away from hitting this goal. So, we should all pat ourselves on the back, the fact that we've... No, because Netherite... This version was discontinued 2 years before Netherite. Netherite doesn't exist here because Legacy Console Edition received its last update 2 years before. So, this is 1.12. This is 1.12. Because the Switch edition of Legacy never got 1.13. Whereas PS4 got 1.13 and 14. Wii U and Xbox 360 got 1.14. So offhand is this. Yes, but you can only hold certain stuff in it. You can only hold arrows, maps, and fireworks. But offhand existed, but you could only hold certain stuff in it, if you get what I mean. No. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I'm streaming through the Switch. Yeah. I'm gonna think of something that we can build on this stream, I think. OG World. What makes Minecraft fun? You have so many community clips. Most of them are definitely not me and Decepted. I do have community clips. Someone got one the other day of I literally moved my chair back and my controller, my wired controller, slid off and literally smacked down on the top of my kneecap so hard that I shouted, that I swore. Because it hurt. What makes Minecraft fun? The fact that you can do anything, that, you know, OG Worlds. Well, every Minecraft player who's had a world for very long, that is an OG world. It's an OG to them. So I wouldn't say OG Worlds. It's the fact that you can do anything, be everywhere. So, for example, I've had this Minecraft world since I was 14. I've had this Minecraft world since I was 14. I've had this Minecraft world since I was 14. So, I've had this Minecraft world for 9 years. I've had this Minecraft world since I was 14. Can you see the emotes? I can see that emote, yeah. Yep, I can see the emotes. Can you guys see this one, which you get if you're a channel member, guys? You get these custom loyalty badges. That one says channel member, I think. It's really hard to read. Let me just... I'm gonna have to refresh my page a second because I clicked the emoji thing. Now it won't go. Now I need to make more custom ones. Oh god, I got a sore shoulder. There we go. So, oh god, there we go. Yeah, I just yawned. What's it called? I don't know. Would you let me look? I don't know. I can't remember. Here, memberships, badges and emojis. The emoji is called hello. The emoji is called hello. So I get 5 at the start. You get 5 the community. What's it called? The community clip. Oh, I don't know, because not every community clip pops up. So the one that I find funny is the one that it's the one that I clipped when I accidentally farted on stream, and then it suddenly goes louder and louder. I don't stream on Twitch. I've never used Twitch. I only stream on here. I'm exclusive to YouTube, guys. This is nowhere else. Did I see yours? I think I did. I do often look for the community clips. Did you guys see the clip that I uploaded to a YouTube video the other day about the FIFA clip? That was pretty funny. I don't know though, because I've always thought that YouTube was better for streaming. Personally. The how did you miss it was funny. I was talking about the other one where the player scores and then walks straight into this girl's breasts. That one was pretty funny as well. I don't know. I've never used it. It's something that I would consider, but then I don't know. It's something that I would consider, but I think I just prefer YouTube. I think YouTube's better for streaming myself. Oh yeah, I saw that one too. He really put his face scar in there, which is the joke. Which is why I made the joke. Oh, he's pointing at me. He knows I made him score, or he's looking at her breasts. I don't really know. I love that clip. It was a very funny clip. It was. Want some cheese, Robert? Yeah, I did see it. I did see the clip. Oh, no. It's a better resolution in the that's not the resolution though. Ultimate Empire. The resolution comes from me. How good my internet speed is. The resolution comes from. It's not Twitch and YouTube's resolutions for streaming. It's not. That's not because of what software it is. It's because of well, the chat. It's not that the chat's. I don't think it's that the chat's faster. There's probably more people watching. The only reason the chat's not fast on here is because we've only got 6 people watching. I'm streaming on PS5. Yeah, but that's the PS5. If you're streaming for a capture card, if you're streaming, the internet plays a part. You're on Fortnite right now. Cool. Has chat in here ever misbehaved? Well, I've had people be rude to other people in the chat before. I like how you said misbehave like I'm a school teacher. What? Everyone's in the chat. Bad boy. Ow, that hurt my wrist. Yes. Did you ever get donors? Well, I'm monetized, so I do get stream donations, yeah. I do get stream donations. Just not a lot, because most of the people that tend to come and watch my streams tend to be like 13 to 15. Bar a scattering of people that are older. It might be as well. One of the things for me, Ultimate Empire, is the fact that I'm streaming old Minecraft, so a lot of people aren't interested in old Minecraft now. Whereas I stream this version the most because this is the version that I played when I was younger. I mean, I started playing this version, guys. I started playing this version of Minecraft, guys, when I was 13. So I try to be respectful. I think my 2 biggest chat flaws are white knighting and over explaining. But then that's nothing to be ashamed of, though. Yeah, not something to be ashamed of, though. Minecraft as E16. Over explaining is good. At least it means you know what you're doing it. So I over explain stuff. I'm an OG player. I was before. Yeah. I've had this world now. This is a really this is a old Minecraft world. I've had this Minecraft world since I was 14. I'm just walking around the world at the moment. I'm just thinking about what I might build. Java versus Bedrock. I can't answer that because I hate Bedrock and I've never played Java. So it would be wrong for me to answer that, I think, because I've never played Java and I don't really like Bedrock. Did I eat McDonald's? Not today, I haven't, guys. I had homemade soup. I had homemade tomato soup, so I had homemade tomato soup, guys. So instead, hello, Charles Hip. Welcome back. Guys, this is one of the oldest things in the world. This is the oldest, one of the oldest things in the world. Shall we head up here a minute? Oh my god. The game... Nintendo Switch sometimes has Joy-Con issues. Look at this, guys. What? Legacy is more like Java. Legacy was based off Java. So, this is some of the builds we've got, guys, at the moment. There's the house. Wow. Yeah, I'm filming on the Switch edition. Yeah. Right, let's go up here. Wow, thank you. But this is 9 years though, guys. I mean, I created this world when I was 13. Well, I was almost 14, so I was basically 14. I created this world when I was 14. Yeah, this build here has been here since 2016. It is the top of the world. This is the top of the world. This is what the end. This is what a crafting table looks like from the bottom. Well, my problem with Bedrock is so laggy, especially on the Switch, especially on the Switch edition. So, should we stay up here for a bit and watch some of these clouds disappear? So, where's this? Where's the snow globe? There it is. Look how cool the snow globe looks on here. I love Survival Legacy. Yeah, that Survival Legacy was generally the name of this world before the Legacy Console Edition become Legacy Edition. It just happens to be that I was playing Minecraft and I decided to call it. Tell Decepted to join. I can't. He's at work. Decepted's at work. I can't force him to. I can't get him fired. Yeah, Decepted's not had a mini heart attack. Yeah, that was a fun old build to make. Yeah, this world has always been called Survival Legacy, even before Console Edition become known as Legacy Console Edition. Even before Console Edition was called Legacy Console Edition, this world has always been called Survival Legacy, just because I was trying to make a cool world, and I thought Survival Legacy. And I just thought it was a cool name. So it's Survival Legacy, a Legacy Console Edition world. And the reason I called it that is because Legacy. The legacy of this world is I'm Batman. Technically, yeah. Technically I was. You are right, Minecraft Z16. Technically you are right. But I'm probably not a bigger name as some of those other YouTubers that say Forever World, so they'll probably get tied. They'll probably get the claim of having. I'm not gonna say that because there's no point of saying that. It's just it's a number. I'm working on my book while playing Fortnite. Jesus, I wish I could do that. But if I'm writing a book, I need... If I'm writing a book, I need both hands. I'm not saying it because I don't get the relevance of saying 67. I was as well, but I lost my words. It's okay if you cry for me. It's hard to think sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, it is hard to think about, especially like a Minecraft world is your canvas. A Minecraft world is your art piece. You know, your blocks of paint and your world's a canvas. It's your creation. It's what you've made. So losing it, and you lose a bit of part of you lose a bit of. You lose a part of yourself because you spent so much time playing on that world that eventually, I said, it becomes part of you. It ain't hard to say 67. No, but it's just a bit stupid. It's a silly trend that has no relevance, and the whole relevance of it is that there is no relevance. It's like walking into Pizza Hut and asking for a Big Mac. I just don't get how people find that shit funny. It's like walking into I don't know. It's like walking into Burger King and asking for a Big Mac, or walking into KFC and asking for I don't know, a Subway. I love my new survival world, of course, but yeah, I did lose a piece of me in 2020 when my computer crashed out. Yeah. I understand that. I said recently to someone, if I lost this world, I probably would cry. I probably would shed a few tears, because I mean, the way I'm going to describe this, guys, is a short little skinny kid created this world, and then a short fat adult still plays this Minecraft world. Which is a good analogy, guys, just how much time this world has been with me, if you get what I mean. It's a good analogy. That's true. That is true. Got to say it. Yeah. You would break your chair. Why would you break your chair? Oh, if you lost your Minecraft world. Yeah. Sorry, it took me a second there. How do you know that? How do you know that? Oh, probably because of watching one of Decepted's bloody... Probably watching Decepted's bloody clip where he's basically played, what's his name, in the community clip. Dude. There we go. Someone knows. Joe, what if a nuke went off in your Minecraft world? I've got to tell you, Charles Hip, I don't play Fortnite, so I have to say no. Because I don't play Fortnite. I've never played it. It's a game that never appealed to me. This stream won't be ridiculously long today, guys, because I want to watch Everton tonight. Everton is on at 8 PM versus Sunderland. It's going to be an interesting match because Everton's goalkeeper we bought from Sunderland 8 years ago. So it's the first time that he's played his old club in a league match. Yeah. Yeah, but that's not his. That's not my bedrock name. That's not my bedrock name. That's my Switch one. But it might be the bedrock one as well, just because I kept this. I think I kept them the same. It's actually a play on words, guys. It's a play on words. It's a play on words from an animation channel I have that none of you know about, which I haven't uploaded on in quite a few years. It's a play on words, so that's Bad Blocks, but then it comes from a play on words from a YouTube channel that I have called Bad Bricks. Like, see you, legend. Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. Oh, Deceptive wouldn't do that because I think I'd kill him. I think I'd kill him if he did that. He wouldn't do that anyway because he's built stuff on this world. Deceptive's built a lot of shit on this world as well. Like, Deceptive had surgery a couple of months ago. Deceptive had surgery a couple of months ago. For a period of a week, he couldn't do anything other than sit in bed. So when I used to stream, he used to just join me on the because he had surgery and all he could do was sit in bed for a week. He joined me on this world. He joined me on this world because he has the Switch version. He joined me on here, and when I was streaming, he basically was going around the world. Basically, he was going around the world and basically organising my chess room for me. So it was kind of like slave labour. I'm joking, but it kind of was. But the only thing that made it not slave labour was the fact that Decepted. I didn't ask Decepted to go and sort out the chess room. Yeah, I enjoy Legacy for the dupes. Yeah, I will admit I have done a few duplication glitches on here. I have done the duplication glitches on here sometimes to finish my build off. Animal versus what animal skin would Decepted have? Oh, he doesn't. He has the Enderman in the suit. He's always the Enderman in the suit. So I'm a rabbit, he's an Enderman. Oh, we never finished the glass up here. How many floors do we have left? 1. Oh, fucking hell, we have quite a few floors. Oh, God, oh yeah. Maybe we can do that sometime. Need to put the glass in the skyscraper here. No. Because realms didn't exist on Legacy. They had server mini games, but not realms or custom servers. Basically, if you wanted to have a I'm gonna sneeze. If you wanted to have a community world, playing Minecraft, if you wanted to have a community world where people could play at all different times, you had to leave your console on 24/7, which that would have been quite a problem. I would organise everything happily long. Call me maniacal, but I can organise storage. Like, that's something I'm terrible about. Like, I had an argument with a guy in my college class about this. We had a guy in my... Hello, random BFDI lover, welcome to the stream. If you're Michael Jackson, then who was Michael Jackson? Who died in 2009? Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Have a good day, Ultimate Empire. That would be a problem to keep a PS4 constantly running. Yeah, so a friend of mine, when we were talking about storage Minecraft as Z16, a guy in my college class who was a student in my class in my first year of uni, in the second year he was a student, but he was also the technician for the college. He was also the uni technician in all the film kit. So basically what he did... what he did was move all the film. He basically organised it all to the way that he knew where it was. But another guy in our class went ballistic about it because he thought it was a mess. But it's one of those, he knew where everything is. But he wanted him sacked. Guy in my class wanted him sacked because wanted another guy in our class sacked because he thought it was all a mess. The technician, it's basically where you keep an eye on all the kit. Yeah, guy in my college class, the guy in my college class, he basically wanted him sacked because he thought the guy had left the kit room a mess, which he hadn't. He knew where everything, he knew where absolutely everything was. He knew where it was all stored. But because he did it completely differently, it was mainly because the guy did it completely differently to the other person that had the job before. You finished another page of your book so far, blimey. Normally you have about 300 words a page, I think. That's A4. A4 is 300 pages of... unless you write it in, like, unless you format it in a way... Unless you format it in a book, in a way a book normally is, so one page becomes 3, one page becomes 2, practically. Yeah, it's interesting. So basically, you had different kit. You had film equipment in 3 different places for different uni years. So what different college and / uni years, because I did a uni level degree at college, guys. So basically you had the college stuff and then you had the uni kit in different rooms. And the guy said to me, quite clever thing, he said, I can't be bothered to walk to 3 different locations. He said, why don't I have it all in one room? He said, why don't I have it all in one room so I always know where it is, so I'm always in the room where the kit is. So he moved all of the 2 rooms that they had all the kit. He moved it. I'm in 7th grade and I have 27 books. Blimey. I mean, I've only written 7 books. I've only written 7 books. Yeah, so what it was is the guy moved all the kit, had all the kit. The guy that was the student / technician, he had 3 or 4 different bits of kit. They had 3 or 4 different rooms. He decided to merge all the kit rooms together and basically bring it all into one room, which makes sense. So he knows where exactly. He knows exactly where everything is. It was all in one room. But to the other guy in my class, it looked like a mess because obviously multiple bits of kit, and he thought it was just he was being lazy. But I would be the same. I would rather have everything in one room. I mean, it is his permanent job. The guy is a permanent job as a technician. He merged all the rooms together, or he took all the kit from the different levels and brought it all into one room. So, which is a brilliant idea rather than going around 3 or 4 places. But the one guy in my class, he was basically angry that he got the job because he didn't think he was qualified for it, but he was. It's interesting. It's funny. Oh yeah, I support merging the storage for sure. That's cool. You consolidated, yeah. So you consolidated it all into one room, which it said. That's how the guy in my class that basically didn't like what the other guy was doing. He just always had to have an opinion in. He always had to put an opinion in, and sometimes he wanted him sacked. He wanted him sacked because he refused to give him some kit. The guy in my class, who was a technician, refused to give the other guy some kit because he was convinced that he was booking out kit for people that weren't on the course. Because the guy was booking out kit that he knew that the other guy didn't know how to use. Which is a brilliant suggestion. I think everyone should do this. The guy in my class took over as technician, guys. He literally brought in a policy that you weren't allowed to book out a big camera unless he knew you knew how to use it, which makes sense because there was people on the. He found out that there was people on the year above that had just left. That didn't. The people on the fight that he found out there was people on the third year of the course that had just left, and they didn't know how to use a camera. And he said, well, how can you be on a film course for 3 years and not know how to use a camera? Which I think is just ridiculous. Because the whole point is you can book out the camera equipment, but he found out that people didn't know how to use the equipment. So he come up with this policy that you could only book it out after you proved that you knew how to use it. So it would, essentially, guys, if you get what I mean, it would, essentially, what would happen, guys, so if you would book out a camera, imagine, say you book out a camera, then you didn't use it because you couldn't work out how to use it. Basically, say I booked out a camera and I couldn't actually get any shooting done because I couldn't work out how to turn it on. Which is a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea. So he was offering to show you how to use it first before you can book it out. So you don't get to the point of you get home, set the camera down, can't do any of your shooting over the weekend because you can't work out how to turn it on. Or you can't work out how to, format the card or, change the ISO or the aperture settings. I know this means nothing to some people in here, but because aperture and ISO are very different things. Quiet Man Joe controller. Really? I'm not quiet. I've never been quiet. Joking, I can be quiet. Yeah, bizarre old stuff. But yeah, well, the guy also got banned because he booked out a camera. He booked out a camera and he looked like he was smoking next to the camera, so it looked like the camera was smoking. It looked like the camera was smoking too. I understand film. Yeah, I didn't know whether everyone would. In fact, the guy in my class who was a technician, obviously, because he was a student as well, he didn't know whether to be a student then or be a technician. And I said to him, well, you should be a technician, really. He goes, that's negligent use of the kit. So he asked me my opinion, and I said, well, that's negligent use of the kit. And then he got banned from using the kit because... Which, if you understand it, it's a bit... It's a bit bizarre. I couldn't believe how I couldn't believe that. But that is just negligent use of the kit. I'm about to start a hardcore series. Cool. So yeah, sorry, my nose. Oh, the Tower of London or Big Ben? Are we talking about Big Ben? We're talking about the Tower of London, obviously the castle. Or we're talking about Big Ben, the clock tower, which is not actually called Big Ben, guys. Only the clock's called Big Ben. It's actually called the Elizabeth Tower, but Big Ben is actually, it's just what it's known as. It's not actually called the tower. Big Ben is just the clock. Yes, Big Ben. I've only seen Big Ben once in real life. I've only seen the Elizabeth Tower. Yeah, it's called the Elizabeth Tower, but everyone calls it Big Ben, so I call it Big Ben. Literally. Yeah, Big Ben is literally just the bell. Surprisingly, when they call it Big Ben, they're actually just talking about the bell. But everyone calls it Big Ben, so even the clock tower gets a name Big Ben, but even though the clock tower is actually called the Elizabeth Tower. What's another massive London monument? Obviously we have the London Eye, which is basic. We have the London Eye. We have the London Eye. We have the London Eye, which was built to celebrate the year 2000. Yeah, how stunning it would look in your world. Yeah, we'll have to look at the design for that though, because I'm not very good at building clock towers. I might have to follow a tutorial for that. Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll think about doing that. I did want to build a clock tower. Yeah. I do have Big Ben in Lego, actually. I have the Lego City Skyline, so I can see Big Ben. Oh, yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so to celebrate the year 2000, so do I love Lego, but the only problem I have with Lego now is the bloody prices they put on it. Actually, he said 7th grade earlier on, so 7th grade might be under Discord's age requirements. Tame the dog? I can. I haven't got any bones, I'm afraid. Yeah, so to celebrate the year 2000, they built the London Eye, which is basically a huge Ferris wheel in London. The London Eye is a huge Ferris wheel in London, everybody. It takes an hour, but because of how big it is, you basically see the London skyline. The Shard's another one. It's the tallest building in the United Kingdom. It was the tallest building in Europe. I worked out where you're from. You're from Weston-super-Mare. I'm not, but I have been there. It's a beautiful place. Well, it was a beautiful place until the pier burnt down. I think it's been rebuilt. Although the beach race is cool there. I do find it kind of creepy that you're just trying to track down from where I'm from. Oh, fuck. I just had a cramp in my knee. Ah. Welcome to the stream, George Watch 11. I can just tell by the accent. Yeah, maybe. It is a southwest accent. You good? Yeah, I'm good. I was sat cross-legged and I had a touch of cramp in my one knee. But tell me not, is it not the best accent in the world? I hate cramps. Yeah, I had it in my toe in a swimming pool once. That was the painful. I mean, the southwest accent is the best accent in the world, guys. It's the best accent. It's literally the best accent in the world. I've been watching a show. I watched a show in the UK. There's a show in the UK. There's a show that they do in the UK called Hunted, and it's where ordinary Brits. There's a show I watched in the UK. It's called Hunted. So ordinary Brits go on the run and whoever wins. I'm not, but I have been there because of Butlins. I have been there. So there's a show in the UK. So basically, it's called Hunted. So it's ran for like 8 seasons, 9 seasons now. But average people go on the run from a team of like police, ex-police officers and things like that, and whoever they fight, whoever wins, and whoever is basically they're trying to catch you, and basically whoever doesn't get caught and gets to the extraction point wins 100 grand. And they had a team from Bristol who have the southwest accent, because obviously the southwest accent isn't just from Bristol; it's from everywhere. It's from everywhere across the southwest of England. But they had a team that had the southwest accent, and honestly, I just loved watching it because all I can hear is my accent. All I can hear is, right, we're gonna go down here. We're gonna. I loved it. I loved hearing it. Oh, them hunters, they ain't ready for us. Them hunters, they ain't ready for us. Them hunters, they ain't ready for us. I love it. Can you drive a tractor? No, because I can't drive in general. I can't drive in general, guys. Yeah, the UK one, they do a celebrity version. So they had a celebrity that was there was a celebrity that went on it. He's a politician, and he somehow, while the Hunted team were trying to catch him, he snuck into the Houses of Parliament. He voted on something to do with Brexit, and then left. I started driving at 15, blimey. It's illegal in the UK. The UK, you can start driving at 17. I decided that I would learn at 18, and then we went into COVID. And we were basically locked down, so I never got around to it. I'm going to have to learn eventually. If I want to be in the film industry, you know, I've got to be able to get to film sets. But can't afford it at the moment. Basically, trying to learn to drive in the UK is ridiculous because there's a huge backlog after COVID, and the prices, and you know, the prices are upping ridiculously. A girl in my class was paying £60 for an hour or something like that. It'll happen. Yeah, it's just Hello, Rebecca. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Yeah, the UK is 17. The UK is 17. You can learn to drive at 17. There we go. A guy in my college class learned to drive when he was 17, and then his bought a Jeep. His dad helped him buy a Jeep, and then he went and then a woman crashed into him. And then it happened. He got it repaired, and then somebody crashed into him again. And he turned around and said to me, "I think it was the same fucking woman." And it's 16 in the UK. No, it's 17. It's 17 in the UK. That's America, where it's like 16. It's not 16 in the UK. It's no. It's actually no. It's 17, but it's 16 if you're disabled. It's 17 in the UK to learn to drive, but if you're like disabled, you can do it at 16. World tour. I'm not gonna do one today. I will do one next. I will do one in another stream, because we have built some stuff today as well. But we'll do one because we've already been streaming an hour. It'd be wrong to do a world tour for some of the stream. I'll do one in another stream. Here it is. Here it is. So, the minimum driving age for the UK is 17, though you can apply for a provisional licence at 15 years 9 months. The age is 16 for mopeds and certain agriculture vehicles, while the minimum age for driving lorries or buses is 21. You can begin driving lessons at 16, but you can't take the test until you're 17. Yes, I am in the UK. Well, you don't have a permit, for example, so you can take driving lessons at 16, but you can't take the test. You can't. It's illegal to drive under the age of 17 in the UK. Basically, if you've got mobility issues, you can technically learn at 16. But next time you stream, can it be after 0:00? Well, one of my old maths teachers said to me, everybody after one of my old maths teachers said to me about driving. One of my old maths teachers said to me, most people that crash, can you start swimming after 4:00? But then that's a waste of the day. I take it you're from America, Rebecca. I would imagine. Yeah. So, yeah, one of my old school maths teachers said to us about the most people that crash are like teens and 20s, and that they should turn around and they should make the drive limit 35. Make the drive limit 35 plus, because at 35 you've sorted your life out. I don't know how I fell down here, but yeah, to answer the question that Rebecca put, can you start streaming next time you stream? Can it be after 4:00? No, but I'm 10. I want to watch, but I can't watch because of school. But you can still watch after you finish school. I can't. Just because you're in school doesn't mean that I can't start my streams whenever I want, if you get what I mean. Would I be able to play with you? I'm not playing Legacy. I'm playing old Legacy Console Edition, I'm afraid, so this is not a cross-play version. I'm going to itch my nose, guys. Oh, there we go. So I don't even know where we are. Oh, now I do. But if you get what I mean, at 10 years old, you shouldn't be watching YouTube anyway, because that's against YouTube's requirements and terms of services. So, but yeah, even if you're in school, I'm not gonna pander my streams and stream later because someone wants to watch just because they're in school. If you watch, the simple thing is you just start watching the stream later after you finish school. The thing is, as well, you can't tell someone that streams when they have to start streaming. Because if I want to, say for example, if I want to wake up and I wake up and think I'm gonna stream, that's true. That is really true. But they were saying that that's not really what they were saying though, Skatepunk. They were saying, could I start my streams later because they want to watch but they're in school. But the logic is there. You go to school, you come home, then you watch the stream. Then you watch the stream when it's live. But no, I cannot just start a stream later. I can't start my streams later because you want to watch them because you're in school. Because there's people on these streams that aren't in school. That's true. Or there needs to be a thing of, or there needs to be a ban on social media for children. Which did you see about Australia? Australia have basically banned social media companies from phone services. Australia have banned phones companies from sticking social media on phones for kids under the age of 16, which, you know, fair play. Oh, my nose. Sorry, my nose keeps blocking up. Hello, Dixon. Welcome to the stream. I've just read your name, and luckily I read that last bit before I read it out. Which stands for dick in my ass, I think. And that... I know I've just read that out, but... I almost got you. Yeah, well, you didn't get me. But then I read it out afterwards and just said to everyone what it sort of means, what it represents. But you didn't get me, no. What's next? My name is, I don't know. I did that in a book once. In one of my science fiction stories that I've published, everyone's name is a dick joke. All the politicians' names are dick jokes. Of course, it was just a joke, guys, but one of them's called Willie Stroker. One's called Dixon Yamada. The head of the health ministry is called Dr. Testicles. I was just taking the piss, guys. You know, it's only bad if you make it bad, if you get what I mean. Originally, the doctor was going to be called initially, the minister was going to be called Dr. Urologist, which urologist is someone that... You get it. Oh, my nose. Yeah, sorry. If I'm streaming, sometimes my nose blocks up. Personally, I'm confident in making sure my kids watch only what I press play onto them. That makes sense. Yeah. It's the same as, if you get what I mean, it's the same as social media. It's really for teenagers, and YouTube for that fact. Up to the age of 12, children should really be watching regular TV channels, like kids TV, like things like Adventure Time. I know that doesn't run anymore, but things like that. That's what they should be watching, because that's specifically designed for the age group, for certain age group, for the age groups. Whereas YouTube, anyone can upload to YouTube. Like, literally, I could write my own TV show tomorrow and film it. Or healing, yeah. What's the show? The TV show Arthur. Arthur was a really interesting one, which they basically took real life events. They took real life events and explained it. So they did an episode called April 9th. April 9th is the fire. It's about a fire. So basically, you've got the one kid in Arthur. Basically, doesn't want to leave his dad alone because his dad was left alone in the building while it was on fire. You've got Sue Ellen that lost her book. I think so, yeah. You had Sue Ellen that lost her scrapbook, so she's obviously thinking by her lost memories. You've got Buster that never turned up and is turned up late, missed it, and then trying to make up fabricated stories about how he was there. And the whole point is, it's basically what people did after 9/11. The whole point of the story is what they did with Arthur was basically they were showing how people felt after 9/11. Some people made fantasy stories about how they were there. Some people didn't want to leave. Some people didn't want to leave their parents because obviously they were scared that their parents were going to go into a building and the building was going to collapse. The whole point is it's basically explaining how people felt after 9/11, which is really, really clever. And they've done it in a way that doesn't actually explicitly say it. And it's really, really clever, guys. Here it is, April 9th. Let me just click onto this a minute and we can read it. It's the, obviously, 10th episode of the 7th season. Trivia. Despite saying April 9th, it was actually published, it actually premiered in November 29th, 2002. It's a rare example of a date being explicitly stated in an episode, since her diary dates April 16th, 2002. I wasn't born, guys. I wasn't born on April 16th, 2002. I was not born in April 16th, 2002, guys. I wasn't born for another just over 8 months. Anyway, but the whole point is it's based on thing. The whole point was it's based on they. I was only 2 years old. Someone who cared for me was in the South Tower when it fell. Yeah. Yeah, when that episode aired, I wouldn't have been born. Well, I wouldn't have been born for another 8 months. Do you know what? Actually, I would have been growing, guys. I would have been growing. I would have been in the womb. I would have been in the womb. He was a man in a red handkerchief, yeah. I was reading something shocking about this the other day. I was reading a documentary, but there was a guy that was a rival of the guy in the Afghanistan leader. He had agents that told the French government that they detected that something was going to happen in America, but they didn't know when. And then the guy got assassinated 2 days before by the Taliban 2 days before. Interesting. Like I said, it's a horrible event. It's horrible. It's a horrible event. It doesn't justify what America did afterwards, though. Did you know what Bush was doing? Yeah, he was in a school. He was in a school watching kids read. A BBC did a documentary a few years ago. It was called Inside the President's War Room. It was a real good documentary, actually. But he explained why. He explained why he sat there for 7 minutes. And he said, you know, he sat in there with a group of 6 and 7-year-olds. Like, George Bush claimed that, you know, he was sat in there. He was sat in a room with a load of 6 and 7-year-olds. He said when he got told, vocab's words weren't. I gotta be honest. No, I don't. I don't know what they were reading. I just know that he was sat there because I've seen the clip numerous times. But his thing, though, his story, his thing about why he sat there for 7 minutes was that he was in a room with a load of 6 and 7-year-olds, and he didn't want to just jump up, lurch out of the chair, run out the room, and scare a group of 6 and 7-year-olds, which obviously makes sense. Plane hits and hit and steel were in the list of what they read to him that day. I was not aware of that. My friend keeps saying to me that about one of my friends has like a conspiracy theory that George Bush did 9/11. See, I don't believe that, but there is some of the conspiracy theories though are interesting. Yeah. Oh, my nose. Wow. Sorry, my nose just blocked. Yeah, one of the only bit of 9/11, if we're talking about that a minute, the only bit of 9/11 that I think's weird is the Pentagon, because they've only got one image of that, and it's the most that's the only bit that I find confusing, because the only bit I find interesting about that is the Pentagon. That's slightly dubious because, you know, the Pentagon's one of the most watched places in America. And if a plane goes through that building, because of how that building's laid out, if a plane goes through that one wall, goes through a wall, you'd see the end of it. You know, you'd see the end of it. The image they've got looks more like a missile, in my opinion. If you get what I mean. The image the image looks more like a missile. Because the image is grey. The image is grey, but the plane would have been white. And it looks like a missile. I don't know. Me and Decepted were talking about this a while back, and I said it looks like the one that goes into the Pentagon looks like a missile. Do you like Spider-Man? I've only really watched I've watched a little bit of the Andrew Garfield one. I've watched a little bit of the Sam Raimi one. I've watched the 2 Tom Holland ones, bar the third one. I've got the third one on DVD to watch, but I just never got round to watching it. I have got the 3 Tom Holland ones. I've had the third Spider-Man film for years, and I just never got round to watching it. You could build Easy park off that flows up that mountain. Yeah. I don't know whether to do anything on that mountain because I just like that mountain. That mountain I just like and just think it should just stay there as like a viewpoint. Oh my god, my nose. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea, Skate Punk. I'm not exactly young anymore. I'm not exactly young anymore myself. Like I'm 23 in a month and a half. I mean, I'm 23 in a month and a half, guys. Like, I don't have absolutely any knowledge of what the 6-7 thing means. I can explain it. Oh, can you? I didn't know it could be explained. Yeah, if you want to explain it, please, by all means. Bloody hell, guys. 7,164 people have subscribed. We are 36 off hitting 7,200. Means nothing and confusion. It is the context. In context, it's the third term born from brain rot. Oh yeah. So of this tree, I don't know how it got here. I think I put it here years ago while I was building something. It's just the wickety bog tree. There we go. Yeah. Absolutely. Never understood it. Totally never understood the whole meaning of it. Never understood the meaning of it, and it's the thing though, in a context of it as well. You know, I'm almost, you know, I'm closer to my mid-20s than my early 20s. So if you get what I mean, guys, I have no idea what some of this new stuff is, but I 6s and 7s, an old American that means state of confusion. Ah. Interesting. Right. Oh, God. Mid doesn't start till... Well, I was saying I'm close. That's why I said I'm close to my mid. Because, you know, I'm 3 years off. I'm 2 years off being 25. And I'm 3 years gone from being 20. So I'm closer 25 than I am 20. As one of my old college lecturers once put us, I'm closer to 70 than I am 60. Which we knew that she was pushing 70 because she was a horrible person. Hello, Zen Shadows DC2. Welcome to the stream. Generally, guys, we once had a teaching assistant in my college class. She was a horrible person. She was a witch. She was horrible, absolutely horrible. Well, just like my common demeanour, like just how rude she was to people. Guy in my class made a spelling mistake, and she read his work and went, "How the hell did you pass your GCSEs? You can't even spell." Horrible. She was a horrible person. She turned around. Yeah. She turned around. The guy that she said that, how did you pass your English GCSE? She then turned around and called him an idiot. And then, obviously, when he complained, this is just how bad it was. When he complained, I think he said something back, and then the lecturer started having to go at him about it. And basically, because of how rude she was, like, I said to the guy watches my YouTube channels because he's got a YouTube channel himself. He's got roughly 1,000 subs. And I said to the guy, and that 2 other people in my class who I was good friends with said to him, the 3 of us said, and another girl in our class, we all said, we'll back you. And she was horrible to us as well. Literally, we were having a laugh, and she started shouting at us about not doing our work, while she was sat next to these 2 girls that were literally just talking about makeup. And it absolutely made me laugh. That's still another 7 months, though. Well, no, 8 months. 8, 7. That's still another 7 months, 8 months. You're closer to right now. You're closer to 28 than you are 29. But 29's still young. 45's middle age. So that's. You're still young. You're still not middle-aged. If you get what I mean. But yeah, it's this lady, she was really horrible. She read my work. Joe, are you blind or something? It says 9, not 6. Where'd you get 6 from? And I said, you're holding the sheet upside down, and she did. She had the sheet upside down. And she was being rude about it. She had the sheet upside down and was then complaining. Which is just ridiculous, guys. It's just ridiculous. Literally, I didn't like this teaching assistant. I didn't like her before she was the teaching assistant in my college class. I had to have her in a maths class. And my friend was on the phone talking to his nan because his nan was like terminally ill with cancer, and she went, "Well, that's not as important as your maths class. She can wait." I said, that's wrong. Terminally ill is terminally ill grandma. There's not as important as this maths class. This is weird, but if someone here is trying to use my PayPal to buy 400 use of crypto, I'm just gonna lie and say lie. I have not money. That 100% it's wrong. Like, it's one of those. I don't think this lady understood mental health, but older teachers now that are in their 70s, they don't understand mental health because back in them days you were just seen as an idiot. There's a film I had to watch. When I was in college. It was called Michael. The film was called Michael. It's a true story, but it's about a kid. He had dyslexia, and back in like the 1970s, early 80s, dyslexia wasn't known about. America knew more about dyslexia than the UK did, which is probably the other way around now. So this lady went to America. This mother, she went to America and learnt. And all the dyslexia training you have in the UK now, it all come from this one woman. all the dyslexia training that or that schools teach now comes from this one woman, and the film was done on her. Basically, her son was dyslexic and got kicked out for being violent and uncontrollable, but he was being bullied because he couldn't spell his name, so they were calling him names, and then of course he would lash out. And the whole thing, and the thing is, the kids would spell finger, and he spelt it Thinger. You do not spell finger Thinger. And then, of course, I tried 0 on your test. Try better or something like that. I tried my best, miss. Oh, maybe you're just stupid then. Well, that's the thing. That's what old teachers were like. Old teachers didn't understand things like mental health. They just thought you were stupid, which is just wrong. I will say my sister had a teacher like that. My sister had a teacher like that basically didn't understand it, so didn't understand like mental disorders or anything like that, and it got to the my sister had a teacher like that, didn't understand disorders or anything like that, so just children had ADHD, anxiety and things like that, when they would lash out and things like that, behavioural disorders, the teacher wouldn't understand stuff like that, so in her head every student like that was just a naughty child. In this teacher's head, every child like that was just a naughty child. Problem is, though, I think that person was like 60 odd. I think that person was like 60 odd, so that was about 15 years ago, so they're probably about, that teacher was like 60, 65. So as you can imagine, they're probably like 80 now, so, but back in them days, yeah, when they would have started teaching, probably the 1960s, when they would have started teaching in like the 60s and the 70s, that was normally the case because they weren't aware of that stuff. You couldn't look into someone's brain and see what was going on. You couldn't look into someone's brain and say what was going on. Oh, my nose. But yeah, interesting though. 200 of you have watched this stream, guys, which is just incredible. It could be worse. You have teachers that do worse things. You're not ill, are you? It just sounds like snuffles. No, if I'm streaming sometimes, because I'm talking for a long time, sometimes my nose just blocks up. I'm not ill. Although my dad's just been ill, so he might give it to me. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll be back in a minute, guys. Right, I'm back. There we go. I'm not ill, no. It's probably there's no air circulation in this room at the moment. Because I closed the window last night, guys, because it got cold. We are now in November. So it's going to be winter time soon. It's going to be winter time soon. So it will be winter time soon. So oh, my nose. Do you ever appreciate the small things? You've got to appreciate the small things. 100%. You've got to appreciate the small things, like going to make a cup of tea, having a chocolate bar. There we go. If you don't remember the little things... What you've... I don't think they do, actually. I don't think they do. I think the people that don't appreciate the little things tend to be our celebrities. That's, you know, going and meeting another A-list celebrity for lunch is the norm. I guarantee if you talk to load of... Well, I think no one loses that, I think. No one loses that. Yeah, the little things are what keeps everyone going. The thing is, so even celebrities, you find out, even celebrities, for example, even celebrities, they seem so far off, like what we are. Even celebrities, they seem so far off what we are. But yeah, even, you know, you got to think, even they do something normal. That's just the little things. You got to think, even celebrities, you go off and do something normal. So, like, you know, the Margaret II of Denmark, you know, Queen of Denmark for 50 years. She used to go and shop in Lidl's. I get sad my sometimes I don't stop to smell the flowers. I can understand that, though. I can understand some people not smelling flowers. Like, I wouldn't smell flowers, but that's because I got hay fever, so... Smelling flowers might not be a best option for some people. But when I talk about the little things, like not thanking someone for for holding the door open or something like that. Yeah, like even celebrities, you know, their lives are so crazy after from what you see them do and things like that. But even they do something normal. Make everything a big event. Sometimes you have to make things big events, though. So, for example, my football team moved out of their stadium after 133 years, so they made that a big event. Normally, moving out of a stadium won't be a big event, but because it's the oldest purpose-built football stadium in the country, they definitely made that an event. But it's like, I hate it when they think, like, I don't like Greta Thunberg, the climate activist. A, because I don't think she really knows what's going on. But I don't think she really cares about the environment. She did a campaign in Bristol about the climate, but the absolute state she left the fuel that they used in Bristol was absolutely ridiculous. that it was left muddy with rubbish everywhere. So who cares? While campaigning about the environment, while campaigning about saving the environment, she actually made the environment worse. So I'm like, do you actually care about the environment? Or being grateful for being so in mind, better than drugged up on who knows what. That's true. Yeah. So I was thinking of a good example for that. I don't do drugs, guys. I don't smoke. I don't vape, and I don't drink alcohol. It's one of those, you can quit smoking, and if you can quit smoking, and you can stop hanging around with people that do smoke. But alcohol, though, that's something that's is probably hard. I think, I don't often agree with Donald Trump, but I saw an interview he did with someone last year, and he said about he thought alcohol was harder to give up, and that's kind of true. Because you can stop hanging around with people that smoke, but alcohol, you're constantly always around it. But alcohol isn't a problem for most people. Alcohol isn't a problem for most people. Like here's a funny story. Yeah. The Greta Thunberg thing. Yeah, she claimed, she called out people for destroying the environment, and the state she left the field that she campaigned in was absolutely horrendous. So there was rubbish everywhere. Basically, all the grass had been turned up, which turning up grass also releases carbon dioxide. So I was sat there listening. Saw the image in the paper, and I was like, well, isn't that everything you're campaigning against you've just done in one day? And in fact, the reason I don't like her, though, why is some rich, this is why I don't like Greta Thunberg, guys. Why is some rich girl that's never had to do a proper day's work in her life telling us how to that we're wrong because of what we're doing? Yeah. Multiplayer? No, this is not Bedrock, nor is it multiplayer, I'm afraid. But yeah, the Greta Thunberg thing. She can afford to give up. She can afford to give up and to do things for the climate, because her family's rich. Her family can support that. That you'd be arrested for that in the UK. Marijuana is a legal substance in the UK. No, yeah. If you hello, Suhas, welcome to the stream. Yeah, what I was just saying about that. What I was just saying about that. What I was just saying about that, Suhas, is that she did a campaign where she did a campaign, whatever it was, in Bristol in the UK, and the state that they left. Do you sell bathwater? Why would I sell bathwater? Now that's just gay, guys. Selling bathwater. Yeah. That is some. Yeah, that is some like messed up style shit. If you're selling your bathwater. Plus, none of you would want a fat man's bathwater. That's just disgusting. Who would do that? I know that what's his name did it, but she was just a nut. She was just like as wild as a bloody. You do, Jesus. I take it that's not getting any money then, but fucking hell. Why would you do that? It's just weird. Yeah, that's her name. But she's just as mad as a box of frogs and probably mentally disturbed. So, yeah. Technically, she is a good businesswoman. She made a business model, but I think it's a moral. But some of you might be completely different, guys. Yeah, what was I going to say about the Greta Thunberg thing? Yeah, the Greta Thunberg thing. What was I saying, guys? Yeah, she did a campaign in Bristol, and the state they campaigning about saving the environment, but the state they left this farmer's field in, absolutely. The state they left this farmer's field in, absolutely. Greta Thunberg did a save the environment campaign in a farmer's field in Bristol, and the state they left it afterwards, there was rubbish left, mud and dirt had been turfed up. In fact, it actually damaged the environment. She damaged the environment a lot more. She damaged the environment while campaigning. What do you do with this stuff? So, campaigning for the environment, about saving the environment, she actually ruined the environment more than she saved it. Well, focus on your goal in the game. I don't have a goal in the game. We've been streaming for 2 hours and we were talking about remembering the little things. We were talking about we were talking about celebrities putting their opinions in when they aren't needed. They're talking about something at the moment. They're talking about something at the moment about making poppies whites. They shouldn't, because the reason we have red poppies on Remembrance Day is because on the battlefields of World War One, red poppies were the first flowers to grow back. And it shouldn't be white poppies; it should be red poppies, because that's the whole point. Red poppies were the first flowers to grow back on the battlefields of World War One after the end of the war. And they're trying to claim something to do with colonialism by decolonisation. I'm like, where does decolonisation come into flowers? Now that's just segregation for flowers, isn't it? That's just... Build the woodland mansion with iron, golem or gold block. I don't have enough iron or gold to build that, I'm afraid. Yeah. Just gonna put the control... Anyway, Joe, yeah? Can you play the tutorial? Not today, because we're on a different world. We're on this world today, so I can't leave this world for now. Plus, this stream isn't going to last much longer, because I'm... You always say that. Do you know what? Yeah, I did say that. I said I will go on the tutorial in A stream. But you seem to keep thinking that I mean that I'll do it on the next stream. I said I'll do it in A stream. I could do it in 3 months' time. But I'm on this one at the moment, and there's a few things that I want to go around and look at. I'm getting some odd comments today. I want you to time out Giannis for fun. Woof, woof, woof. What? Fortunately, I don't have a Minecraft bone. I don't know what's going on. Thank you to everyone that's watched this stream so far today. Increasing shorts length. Yeah, they've increased YouTube shorts to 3 minutes. Which has been quite a fun little addition, guys. It means I don't have to speed videos up. I'm watching a nobody play a game. Thank you for calling me a nobody. That's kind of you. Which technically I am, yeah. But even a nobody can become a somebody. But actually, nobody's a nobody. Everybody's a somebody. Sorry, I'm not on my usual. It's alright. Not every nobody is a somebody. Every nobody is a somebody because everybody has value. Just because someone's not famous doesn't mean doesn't mean that they aren't important. You know. It was a nobody that put your roof it was a nobody that put the roof over your head. It was a nobody. Cool, congratulations, Charles. You know, a nobody put the roof over your... A nobody put the roof over... There's no such thing as a nobody. Everybody's a somebody, you know. The somebody... Everybody has value in this world. Look. A somebody created the door that you use for your front door. And nobody created somebody created the window. So there is no such thing as nobody, because everybody did everything. It was a question. I got called a nobody, Charles. So I said, well, there's no such thing. Everybody will die soon, and nobody. Well, nobody's ever really a nobody. Just because they aren't famous doesn't mean that they haven't done things in their lives. Listen, alright, I will listen. This is for Calamity. Cool. Everybody's a somebody, 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 somebody to love me. Sorry, that's Whitney Houston, isn't it? I think it is. Let's jump. Do you know how to keep an idiot in suspense? Yes, I am Calamative Joe. That is true. Sorry, my nose is a bit blocked. Do you know how to keep an idiot in suspense? Yeah, probably not comment the reply, isn't it? I feel sort of strange being an American who's fascinated by English culture. I don't actually think that is strange though, because English culture is American culture. Most of America's constitution comes from English things of liberty. Literally, most of the US Constitution comes sort of things from the Magna Carta. Do you guys know what the Magna Carta is? Are you guys aware what the Magna Carta is? The Magna Carta is... I'm going to read it out to you. The Magna Carta was a treaty signed in 1215 by King John of England. It's established the principle that everyone, including the king, is subject to law. So it limited the monarch's power, but the Magna Carta decreed that every Englishman's home was his castle. Every Englishman had the right to forage for food. Nobody could be charged. It's basically a law of liberties. Basically, it's the right to a fair trial, the promise that the king could not act arbitrarily. The Magna Carta is obviously the foundation of English common law, and it's the landmark document for worldwide liberties. with its principles influenced in later systems such as the US Constitution. So when you say English culture is basically the forefather to American culture. The American Constitution is basically a revamped Magna Carta. The Magna Carta is a treaty that was wrote 800 years ago. England has today been good. Yeah, you keep calling me England. Jesus, thank you. What do you think the guy who discovered milk was doing with that cow? That's a good joke. I like that. What's your name? My name's Calamity Joe, but just call me Joe. Everyone else does. Yeah, my name's not England. So yeah, if you get what I mean, skate punk, the US Constitution is a revamped Magna Carta. The Magna Carta was the first ever document that basically outlaid civil liberties of what it's a fascinating document. It was 800 years a couple of years ago. It was 800 years, 10 years. It was 800 years, 10 years ago. Do you know what? Yeah, so it does say the US Constitution is thinged by it. Bro, you're the best trash talker who can literally take something as a word like nobody. Well, yeah, you called me a nobody, and I said, well, everybody's a somebody, really, because it was a random person in a random part of the world that made your roof, made your. I think so. I think America can learn a lot from the UK. Well, I think America can learn how gun rights work in the UK. Literally. Well, I'm just a motor mouth and no, I haven't had a past life. I might have been. Actually, no, I was an Austrian painter in my past life. I think I got kicked out of art school. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. If you get the joke, you get the joke. Basically, the UK gun rights America can learn from. If you have the police in the UK, if you go want a gun license in the UK, you've got to go to the police and ask for one, but you cannot get one unless the police have a look, scan your house. In the UK, if you want a gun license, you need to the police need to have a look at your house and see wherever you're going to keep it. I said I was an Austrian painter, not an Australian painter, and I got kicked out of art school. But if you get the joke, you get the joke. Anyway, but yeah. So talking on that regard, America could probably learn something from that, skate punk, where oh, for now, so. Yeah, so what the UK does in armed societies is safe say. I don't think so, personally. I don't agree with the fact that you've got to have metal detectors detecting metal when you're going into schools. So they have to have them in the UK now because of knives. But did you paint a woman or did the woman paint on you? Jesus Christ. Anyway. No, so what the UK does, you're allowed to carry a gun in the UK if you've got a license. Well, I'm not going to answer you, and I'm not going to answer someone that puts it in capital letters. Oh, gosh sake. So, in the UK, when you've got you misread what I said, Yanis Matascu. You've misread what I said. I said an Austrian painter, not I said I was an Austrian painter, not an Australian who paints women. What are they on about? They said in your past life where you were a politician with a big mouth, because when he caught, he's up the one guy's upset that when he called me a nobody, I responded with everybody's a somebody. So basically, he's a bit upset, I think. So basically, I've said Austria, and they keep thinking I've said Australia. Anyway, let's get on to the point that I was making. So yeah, what I meant, Red Hot Toucan and Skatepunk, in the UK, if you want to have a gun license, the police have to check the police have to check where you're going to store it, because they have to check your mental health records. If there's anything about you had mental health when you were a kid or anything like that, you have to. Do you have a runny nose? No, I don't have a runny nose. It's just when I've been streaming, my nose blocked up. Yeah, so it's just so there's air struggling to get out my nose. But yeah, if you get what I mean. Are you chubby? Are you chubby? Can you finger paint? Well, painting with a paintbrush is better. Are you chubby? I am a little bit. I am a little bit chubby. Yes. I'm not that chubby though. I'm 95 kg, which isn't that chubby. I'm 95 kg, roughly 210 pounds, so I'm not that chubby, but a little bit. You don't understand. No, I do understand, but I'm not. I do understand what you meant, and I know what you mean, but. Following you, by the way, Joe. You're following me? There was a comedian that once said that on social media or something like that. He said something like, if you want to follow me, this is what I look like from behind. And then he turned around and showed him his back, which is kind of funny. Yeah, what was I going to say? I understand what you were saying. Yes, the UK, if you have mental health problems, if you've ever had mental health problems, it's illegal to get a gun license. But they did that after a shooting. So in 1996, a guy went into a school and shot a load of children. So what they did, the UK basically changed all the gun laws afterwards. Over the next year and a half, all the gun laws in the UK were changed. Basically, it was illegal to own a handgun. And the gun license were tougher to make sure that no one would ever do it again. To make sure it would never happen again. Australia have done the same thing after a shooting. It's interesting. America's the only country that have never done anything. Oh, you're saying how to get a gun in the UK? Yeah, to get a gun in the UK, the police have to check where you're going to store it, and if they don't like where you're storing it, you can't get the license. That's what when Skatepunk said about how America could learn stuff from the UK. Maybe that's what they could learn. America could learn. The police have to look into your medical records and see where you're going to store it. And if they don't like where you're going to store it, then you don't get one. Imagine how many people that probably shouldn't have one. Imagine how many people in the United States that probably have one that shouldn't probably realistically have one. You'd probably save. It probably would be safer if you did that, because you probably would have people that mentally shouldn't have hold of those stuff, that probably wouldn't be able to have access to them. Yeah, but that's when Skatepunk said America could probably learn stuff from the UK. That's probably what they could learn. I'm making a villager trader right now in hardcore mode. Any suggestions on moving villagers into certain spots? No idea. I find that stuff ridiculous. It's hard to change amendments, but they could take abortion rights out though. It wasn't hard to take abortion rights out, but it's hard to take gun rights out. It's not. See, it's illegal to. It's fine. You could build a giant jack-o'-lantern. That is something that I did want to do. That's something I did want to do. For next Halloween. I wanted to do that for this Halloween, but I couldn't work out the shape in my ideas world. That's the thing though. It's funny. It's to change just a tiny bit of the gun rights. But yeah, if America took that on board, what the UK does, if America was to take on what the UK does with the police, the police decide whether you get a gun, whether you're able to get a gun. Yeah, what America, when you said Skatepunk about like what America could learn from the UK, in the UK. You can only get a gun license if the police are happy with your medical records and they are satisfied that you're going to keep that they've seen exactly where you're going to keep your weapon. You can't get a gun otherwise in the UK. If America did something like that, the amount of criminals and things that probably wouldn't get hold of them. The amount of criminals or mentally disturbed people that probably won't get hold of them. I mean, you still got guns, people that are not, normal people. You've still got them for protection, but people that generally shouldn't have them, like mentally disturbed people. So, for example, there was a case in the UK the other year of a guy that had schizophrenia, former soldier, PTSD. He shot somebody and killed somebody because he had flashbacks and thought he was still in Afghanistan, which he didn't go to prison for it, but all they did was just take his gun license away to make sure that he can never have a gun again. That's something that kind of makes sense. George Washington didn't care, but yeah, mentally ill things though, they didn't exist back then, if you get what I mean. Yeah. But back in them days, PTSD and things didn't exist, so you didn't know about that stuff. For example, you didn't know about it 80 years ago. For example, what's his name? Who was the head of the army for America? George Patton. George Patton got removed from the U.S. Army in the late 40s because during the Second World War. During the Second World War, he slapped to take out the government. Yeah. But that would be wrong, though, if you did take out the government, because if they're democratically elected, that's basically... But it's good you're in a history class. Being in a history class is good, guys, because you sort of understand how the world works, and you don't let the same things happen. No, what I meant in the case of a king. In fact, Red Hot Toucan, surprising, when they talk about monarchies, when they talk about monarchies, yeah, when they talk about monarchies are actually more stable than presidencies, surprisingly. When they talk about monarchies, guys, monarchies, if your country's a monarchy, 18 of the top 20 most stable countries in the world, 18 of them are monarchies, because you can never, any prime minister or anything like that ever has plans to like be a dictator, they're always reined in, so no dictator can take over, because they can, the government can, the monarch can rein them in. It's an interesting one. We are equipped to remove tyranny. Yeah, I mean everyone is. That's what the armed forces are for, which is why there's a secret thing in the UK government that the UK government can't order the army to do anything. The secret is to have the army not work for the government. You love me, thank you. In talks of tyranny, the military does not serve the UK government. The Queen, the King. Basically, the armed forces of the UK will only answer to the King. So basically, if the Prime Minister, say the Prime Minister tomorrow, say Keir Starmer was to decide to go and invade Ireland tomorrow and tell the armed forces to do it, they would go and tell the King, and the King would say no, because the King... Yeah, so the UK armed forces, if necessary, if we had a tyrant, the UK armed forces would just do whatever the King says. So if a Prime Minister was a tyrant, the king could just get the army to go down there and arrest him. That's how it works. So yeah, the UK, the armed forces, unlike America, for example, where the armies work for the president, and the president's the commander-in-chief, the King of the United Kingdom has direct control over the armies. Yes, so the king always has the final say. The king has the final say. The king has the final say on absolutely everything, but he has no power. So he has power that he can use. If he doesn't like a law, he can have it amended. So that's why the UK is so stable, because we can never, the guy that controls our government never has any real say. For example, the British Prime Minister is the only government, is the only head of state, head of government in the world that cannot go to war without the King's approval. How did I laugh? Ha ha ha. Like that. It's an interesting thing, but that's how it works. And that's why if there's a declaration of war in the UK, it's got to have the King or Queen's approval. And obesity is a disease. Yes, obesity is a problem everywhere. Ironically though, the UK has a problem with obesity, but it's not as bad as American. Like, the average American weighs nearly 20 pounds more than the average Britishman, which is a lot. Only home and family. Home and family, but that's what the UK does. You serve king and country. Obviously, you have a lot of Republican sentiment. Well, yeah, the UK, the monarchy now... Do I have a girlfriend? I do not. I focused on trying to build a career instead. Yeah, so, like, the average... The UK royal family... in fact... America probably care about our royal family more than the British people do, which is kind of funny. Literally, as soon as something happens with the royal family, the American news is straight over it. soon as something happens to the royal family, the American media are straight over it. It's straight away. It's King Charles is ill. Queen Camilla is ill. Yeah, that's the thing. Do you know what I reckon that is, though? I reckon America... I've always thought it's America love the... It gives public insight to the other nations, yeah. But with America, it's... It's an interesting thing. So I've always... This is what I've always thought about it. America seem to love the British royal family more than the British people do, because I think they love the pomp and pageantry of it. I think they love the ceremony of it, the traditional ceremony of it. And I've always got the inkling. I've always got the inkling that America love the idea of the British royal family, and sort of want their own royal family because they love obviously the showmanship of it, but then can't have a royal family. So their best way. So it's kind of like they're living it, they're living through it, they're living the idea of having a monarchy by us watching it on TV. Ironically, though, because you mentioned Trump, that's the only world leader he never disrespected, because he disrespected quite a few world leaders. He disrespected quite a few world leaders as president, just inadvertently, just the way he spoke. The only person he never disrespected was her. Yeah, it's the interesting thing is Donald Trump was the only the only person he never really disrespected in front of was the Queen, because he commands respect. Yeah, I didn't agree with him and Zelensky though. That's where I thought he was a tad disrespectful. And I think he started to realise now that Putin played him like a book. The one I didn't get though was Theresa May. He was on his first state visit. He was in the UK. And the first thing he said to Theresa May was Boris Johnson would make a great Prime Minister. It wasn't even hello or something like that. It was something like that. It was something like that, and the American news journalist picked out on it, saying that's quite tight. The first thing you say to the UK Prime Minister is your job could be done by a better man, by a better person. Which I thought that's a bit tight, but. I'm surprised Theresa May didn't... Do I like Boris Johnson? Yes and no. I don't blame him for some of the shit that happened during COVID, because no one wanted his job during COVID. No one wanted his job during COVID because everything he did, people moaned at. When he put us into lockdown, some people moaned that they didn't want to go into lockdown. When we went out of lockdown, people moaned that we were going out of lockdown too soon. Some people were moaning that we went out of lockdown too late. When we went into lockdown, some people moaned. Name someone that can replace Trump. Well, I have no idea who America's politicians are, because half of them you've never heard of. Boris Johnson, though. Boris Johnson was a bit more of a globalist. You know, he's a bit like Trump in a way, you know, he says he says his opinions. But the problem with Boris Johnson was that he got soaked up in this thing to the point that when he was Prime Minister, you know, they let in thousands and thousands of people from all parts of the world. I think it was 1 million people. I think some say it was 1 million people came in illegally in that 3 years that he was Prime Minister, which is quite a high number. But the problem with Boris was that what brought him down was the fact that the cost of living. There was we had a fuel crisis, and half of it was caused by Russia-Ukraine, because the UK government for 30 odd years was getting gas from Russia. And then as soon as Russia cut off the gas because of the Ukraine war, and the UK was supporting Ukraine, it meant that obviously all the gas prices come up, and obviously that brought him down. What brought Boris Johnson down was the fact that he knowingly hired someone that was involved in a sexual assault as a minister. And then obviously the cost of living crisis. But the cost of living crisis can't solely be blamed on him. You can blame that on every single Labour and Conservative government for 30 years. They closed down all the coal mines and were buying cheap imported fuel and gas from other places. It's to the point, a lot of people are suggesting now that the UK should reopen the coal mines. But that's just a thing. Ah, fudge. The thing is, though, when I said about the Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth II, greatest monarch in British history, 70 years, never embroiled in controversy. The only controversy she ever had, the only time her popularity dropped in her whole reign. The only time her popularity dropped was after the death of Princess Diana. The death of Princess Diana is the only time in her whole 70 years when her popularity dropped, because she refused to speak to a grieving nation. 25. She was 25, I think. Yeah, she was 25. She was almost 26. She was 25 when she became on the throne. So when she went on the throne of the UK, because her dad, King George VI, was only in his 50s when he died. Oh my bad, it was alright. It was only 2 years out. Because her dad died when he was fairly young. Like, King George VI was only in his 50s. Let me just have a look how old he was, because King George V wasn't very old. No, sorry, King George VI wasn't very old when he died. He was 56. Yeah, King George VI wasn't very old when he died. He was born in 1890. He was born in 1895, and he died in 1950. He was born in 1895, and he died in 1952. So he was almost 57. King George VI, though, had cancer. King George VI died of lung cancer. So Queen Elizabeth II went on a tour of the British Empire, what was the British Empire, and she got when they arrived in obesity as a disease. It is, but it's a disease it's a bad disease that countries need to try and fix. The bad one is the Cook Islands. The bad one is the Cook Islands. The bad one is American Samoa. It's American Samoa now. American Samoa has the highest adult obesity in the world. 75.6%. That's literally that's 3/4. 75%. That's literally 3/4 of the adult population are obese. That, you got to think that's bad. That's literally 3/4 of the population. Will the UK ever get a young queen again? Not in my lifetime. we're talking about monarchy at the moment. Like Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth II was never expected to be queen at 25. No, when she was born, nobody expected King George VI to die of cancer in only age 50, in his age 56. Whereas, so, not in my lifetime, because there's not going to be a queen in my lifetime. There's not going to be another queen in my lifetime, guys. Like, sorry to say, guys, there's not going to be another queen in my lifetime, because we've got King Charles at the moment. Then it'd be King William, and then we'll have King George. Then we'll have King George VII. But, and then whatever, and then King George VII. So Prince George, Prince William's son, he will be the first. He will be whatever his kid is, whether it's a girl or a boy. When will Elizabeth III come along? No idea, because, you know, you could say the same as when will Queen Anne come across again? When will Queen Mary? When will we have Victoria II? Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth I was on the throne from 1558 to 1605. Mary I, ironically, was queen from 1553 to 1558. Ironically, Queen Mary passed the throne on to her sister, well, her half sister. King George the what? Queen Mary II was on the throne in the 1800s. After she died, and then her husband reigned. Then her husband reigned by himself. Then her sister after he died, her sister became queen. She was queen for 15 years. She was queen for 15 years, I think. Hold on. Queen Anne of Great Britain. She was the Queen of Great Britain. Queen Anne was the Queen of Great Britain from 1702. She was the Queen of Great Britain and Ireland following she was Queen of England. She was Queen of England, Scotland, and Ireland from the 8th of March 1702, and the Queen of after they merged them all together into Great Britain and Ireland, she was Queen of Great Britain and Ireland from 1707. So, till her death in 1714, she was queen for 12 years. Then, she was the last female monarch. Yeah. She was the last female monarch for over a century, until Queen Victoria became queen in 1837. I will be back in a second, guys. I'm back. So yeah, basically, in the history of in the history of England, in the history of Great Britain, there's only been 4 queens. Queen Elizabeth II. So Queen Mary, no, 5 queens. Queen Mary I, Queen Mary II, Queen Elizabeth I, Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Anne, and Queen Victoria. So 6. Because the reason that is because most of the monarchs had daughters, but if you had a son, the son would always come first. A boy back in the day up until recently, if you had a boy, the monarch had a boy, the boy would out-thing the girl in terms of how monarchy used to work in the UK, if you had a boy, if you had a son and a daughter, say you had a daughter now and then a son 2 years time, the son would become the son, because it was a boy, would come first. If you get what I mean, the son would come first. But they've changed it recently. They changed it in the UK recently that if you have a daughter now and then have a son, the daughter is still first in line and will become the monarch. But that's not going to happen yet. The only reason Queen Elizabeth became queen was because she had no brothers. She had no brothers, and her sister was and she had no brothers but a younger sister. So, for example, as well, Queen Elizabeth II should never have become queen. Queen Elizabeth II should never have become queen. She should never have become queen. In another world, she would never have become queen. Does everyone here know what that is? Do you know why that is, everybody? Perhaps not, I don't know. Do you guys know why that is? Why Queen Elizabeth II should never have been queen? No, I would like to know. Because her father wasn't the firstborn son. George VI wasn't the firstborn son. His older brother became king, but he wanted to marry a divorcee. Edward VIII, King George's older brother, wanted to marry a American divorcee called Wallis Simpson, and because she was a divorcee, it was frowned upon, which meant that he was the king or queen's the head of the Church of England. The Church of England could never allow him to do it, so there was a thing. Can you call her a mistress or something like that? Do this, do that. But basically, the Prime Minister of the UK wouldn't agree to support it. The Prime Minister of the UK couldn't support it. All the Prime Ministers of the British Empire couldn't support it. So instead, Edward VIII, who'd been king for a year, who had been king for literally a year, for 10 months, he instead abdicated the throne to King George VI. He abdicated the throne to King George VI, to his brother, so he could marry. So he picked love over monarchy. So King George VI became king in 1936, and Queen Elizabeth II became what is now Queen Elizabeth II, became heir apparent. But if they'd allowed Wallis Simpson to marry him, they could have, and they produced a son, he would have become king. Or if they'd had a daughter, they would have become queen, not her. So Queen Elizabeth only became in because her uncle abdicated the throne. Basically, guys, if you get what I mean, abdicating the throne of the UK is a little bit like the US president resigning. Queen Elizabeth considered abdicating in the early 2000s because she was pushing 80. She considered abdicating. Is the US better? That would be a bit thing though. Like, no country's better than everyone. That's just a propaganda. Saying one country's better than the other is just propaganda, and that's what, you know, America. If you're American, for example, America wants you to believe that America's the best, they're better than everywhere else. Whereas I'm British, so I say Britain's the greatest country in the world. Every country wants their people to believe that they're the best in the world. I guarantee someone that's Dutch thinks Netherlands is the greatest country in the world. America is the best country. Well, it's not the most obese country in the world, but it's the biggest country of obesity via population. It is true though. It is true. I would if I was American, I'd only be 10 pounds overweight. Technically. In terms of obesity, the average American weighs something like 200 pounds. The average American weighs 200 pounds. So if I was American, guys, I'd only be 10 pounds over that. And if that's the average American, what are the really heavy Americans weighing? Because, you know, that's something you got to look at. Most Americans are overweight. Well, the average American reportedly weighs 200 pounds, which that's only 10 pound. In context, I weigh 210, so that's quite a heavy thing. But I think I know why that is. America has a lot of food, but there's a lot of shit in it. American food has a lot of food in America has there's a lot of chemicals in it. There's a lot of shit in it. So, for example, like in America, I know you have chlorinated chicken. That's illegal in the UK. America or USA? Do you mean the UK? Well, the UK's food's more healthy. The UK food's more healthy because the UK food hygiene regulations are the highest in the world. Sorry, you don't have to apologise. You don't have to apologise. Yeah, the UK food hygiene is the toughest in the world. McDonald's, Burger King, and things like that have to reinvent their menus to. McDonald's had to reinvent their menu to adhere to the UK food regulations. Whose teeth are better? That's a lie. Do you know why it's a thing? You know when it... Do you know why? That's actually a lie about teeth being better. That's a lie. UK don't have rotten teeth. It's teeth. Basically, the reason they say British people have yellow teeth is because tea leaves a stain. It's not because British people's teeth are unhealthy. Its tea leaves a stain. What about knives in the UK? Yes, knife crime is bad in the UK. Knife crime's bad in the UK, but that's the government's fault, because the government... How old is everyone here? How old is everyone here? Do you guys remember how old is everyone watching this stream right now? Because I don't exactly know who's watching the stream right now. 16, 14. Yeah. Are you ever going to do a face reveal? Maybe, I don't know. Does everyone remember the 2008 financial crisis? Does everyone remember the 2008 financial crisis? I would have been like 6, so I do remember bits of it. The reason knife crime is so high in the UK, the world had a big financial crisis in 2008 to 2010. The Conservative government that was in charge from 2010 to 2024, to fix the financial crisis, they cut services. To obviously stop the recession and the 2008 financial crisis, the UK government cut forces. They cut the army down. They cut the police force down. Knife crime's gone up because the UK government absolutely, in roughly 2010 to 2016, the UK government cut down the police force a lot. The UK government cut down a lot of social services to basically bring down the wage bills. To try and stop things going bankrupt. Prince Philip was a good guy. Honestly, some people don't like him. Some people didn't like Prince Philip, but Prince Philip, he had a horrible life. You know, his father, he could never claim. Favorite team? Oh, I'm impartial. I like both Barca and Real. But in the Premier League, it's Everton. In the Premier League, which is the best league in the world, it's Everton. Prince Philip was funny, but you know, he actually served. Prince Philip actually served in the British Armed Forces during the Second World War. And in fact, who do you think is going to win the 26 World Cup? I think it will be between England, France, Argentina and Brazil. I think that will be the semi-finals. I think it'll be England, Brazil, France, Argentina, something like that, or vice versa. I think it'll be between England, France, Argentina and Brazil. Yeah, the thing with Prince Philip, his mother disappeared, which he found out later in life that his parents, that she'd been confined to a mental hospital. All his sisters were like 15, 16 years older. So Prince Philip, all his siblings were like, nah, no, Portugal ain't gonna win it. Portugal ain't winning because Portugal don't have the squad. Portugal don't have the squad for it, I don't think. You know, everyone says Portugal because of Ronaldo, but you got to think Ronaldo's 40. Ronaldo's not as good as he was 10 years ago. But Prince Philip, all his sisters were like 15, 16 years older. Basically, but he was funny. Like he had a sense of humor. So so he once walked past someone, and a journalist asked him, "Are you well, sir?" He goes, "Why do I look ill?" But his sense of humor also got him in trouble because, of course, sometimes he would say jokes that were slightly offensive. But you got to think the guy was in his late 90s. The guy was in his 90s. He was born in 1921. You got to think some of the jokes he was saying weren't offensive when he was younger. So there was one when this guy, the photographer, wasn't taking the photo, and he was just sat there getting bored, and he says, "Why don't you just take the fucking picture?" Merry Christmas, because Merry Christmas is British. Happy Christmas is more American. Yes, I did. December 12th, 2016. So it will be 9 years ago. Sorry for interrupting. It's alright, you didn't interrupt. How can you interrupt with a comment? You can't interrupt with comments. I decided to read your comments. I'd already finished what I was saying, anyway. But yeah, if you get what I mean, guys, like... Prince Philip, how old am I? Have a guess, someone says. Have a guess. Nobody say anything. Let's have a guess. Because some people say older. Have a guess, someone says, because some people think I'm older, some people think I'm younger. Let's have a guess. Let's see your guess. $19, $20. Yeah, I'm older than 20 and I'm older than 19. Yeah, I'm younger than 30. Or older. Can't tell. I like this. 23. Pretty much. Well, I will be next month. I will be next month. So, 22 now. At the moment. Yeah. Yeah, not 19. If I was 19... Happy early birthday. Oh, thank you. If I was 19, someone says, it would have meant that I made my YouTube channel when I was 11, which is illegal. If I was 19, it would have meant that I would have created my YouTube channel 8 years ago, which is when I was 11, and YouTube is for 13 years and up. So I have to be older than 19 to have a channel that's 8 years old. Oh shit. But guys, my channel is 10 years old next year. $10. Are you going to stream on your birthday? I might do. I might spend it with myself. But yeah, ooh. But yeah, guys, so that's how yeah, some people think I'm older, some people think I'm younger. It's weird. I don't think I sound 30. Well, that's true. I have streamed on my birthday before. I might do it again, I don't know. Football knowledge questions, Jesus. I'm not going to be streaming for long today, guys, because my football team are actually playing in a few hours. They're playing a league match and I need them to win. Everton lost 3-0 to Tottenham last week, but if the referee had actually refereed the game better, it could have been completely different. Everton played the better team but couldn't score. Everton equalised when it was 1-0. Everton equalised, but the referee invented a rule and ruled the goal out. Yeah, Everton scored against Tottenham last week, and they ruled when it made it 1-1, and then they ruled the goal. The goal got ruled out because the Everton player was next to the centre back, so they ruled the Everton player was next to an Everton player was next to Tottenham's goalkeeper, and they ruled him offside, but he doesn't actually touch the ball because a centre back scores. So Everton's midfielder is not touching the ball. and he's not interfering with play because the goalkeeper actually saves it, but can't get enough on the header to save it. So that's the whole point of him being offside is irrelevant because he's not on the ball. I'll be back in a second. I'm back. But yeah, Everton are playing Sunderland tonight. But that referee last week for against Everton Tottenham, he got so many decisions wrong. Everton midfielder Idrissa Gay, a guy went and elbowed him in the box, and I think it was Alan Shearer, one of the Premier League's record goal scorer, and a pundit now. But he said that. He said any other place on the pitch, that's a foul. He goes because he's crashed into him and he's not even looking at the ball. He's constantly looking at the player. and they could not believe that wasn't a penalty. And it's interesting. They could not believe that Everton didn't have a penalty there. That was, I think I was shouting at the TV. I was. I'll say, guys, I was shouting at the TV because Tottenham's second goal... I was shouting at the TV because Tottenham's second goal came from time added on by the VAR check for Everton's goal. Everton's goal should have stood. If Everton's goal stood, Tottenham's second goal, would never have been scored because that was some added time because the VAR people were taking an age to look at it. It's pretty simple. He's not offside because he's not touching the ball. He's not in play. So goal stands. But sometimes with VAR now, I think they get involved and just they get involved to try and find ways to rule out goals. It's something that I find quite weird. That's just my opinion, though. Just my opinion. But I think with VAR in football matches now, they try to find ways to just to rule out goals to make it more exciting. But it's not more exciting. More exciting is every team scoring. But how are you supposed to make? What's the point of making games more exciting if you go and if you rule out goals incorrectly? Don't understand that one. I don't understand it. What's the point? What's the point? It's something that I find quite shocking that nowadays they seem to do that. The angriest one I've ever had was Manchester United Man United last season. Everton defender went into the box, got to the ball, so the Man United player pulled him back. Hello, Luke Games. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. How are you, Luke Games? YouTube's got onto an advert on my stream. For me. I don't know whether it's got onto an advert for you guys. Have I muted? Is my mic still muted? No, it's not. I was worried that my mic was still muted. Everybody... Unless there's a really long stream delay or something like that. Could be. Yeah, hello Luke Games, welcome to the stream. What are you doing? Nothing at the moment. I'm standing on this roof. You sick? Do I sound sick? Do I sound sick? I don't know. Do I sound sick on your end? Well, I might take a long break from YouTube. Why is that, out of curiosity? Maybe when school ends. Oh. Yeah, I'm not actually ill. I just got a bit of sniffles on my nose. I got a bit of sniffles on my nose. But I've only had it since I started streaming, so I think it maybe when school ends will come back. Oh. Yeah, I'm not like ill, but I think it's a sniffles. Sometimes if I'm streaming and talking for so long, sometimes my nose blocks up. Might be that. I don't know. But how are you, Luke Games? How are you? That's alright. You don't have to go and watch all these streams. I want to take a break. I want to take a break from streaming for a bit because I want to have Dawn of Planets 1's War finished. I want to have it written by the end of the month, by the end of the year. I'm great. How are you? I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you for asking. I might take a break from YouTube sometime, guys, because I want to have Dawn of Planets 1's War finished by the end of the year. As it stands, I think I've got another 20 to 25,000 words to write. I've got another 6 or 7 chapters to write. I'm currently starting chapter 16. And I cannot reveal. I can reveal the name of the 15th chapter, just not the 16th. Because I can reveal the name. Chapter 15 was 4,000 words, so roughly about 20 pages, and it was called Witch Hunt. And the main character goes off to America for a bit. He goes off to America and explores a top secret military installation. It's called Area 52? 53? I don't know. Or was it 1? I don't know. But yeah, so I want to have that finished, guys. I want to have that finished by the end of the year. It's roughly 50,000 words so far. It's roughly 50,000. That's roughly 200 pages. So I think this book's going to be about 300 pages. I think the next story, which is going to be called, I don't know yet. Initially, it was going to be called Age of Imperialism, but I've changed the name. I don't know whether I like the name. Dawn of Planets Book 5 is going to be called the Age of Imperialism. That's what I was going to call Book 5, but I don't know whether the name works. But I love it. I love it. We read The Dollmaker out on stream on Halloween. I think lots of people loved that, but they understood why I made 18 rated. Yeah. I hope everyone in here is enjoying the stream so far. The stream will end soon because Everton are on at 8 o'clock and I want to watch Everton. Do you play Bedrock with viewers? I used to. I used to do that quite a bit, but then I sort of got bored of it because eventually it was the same sort of people joining, and then all I had in the comment section was play with me or else. Play with me or else. It was sort of like that. That's why I stopped doing it, because I lost the enjoyment in it. Eventually I will do it. Eventually I'm going to go back to that, but just not quite yet because I sort of got bored of it. But the reason I got bored of it, was because there was a point when it was just people going, play with me on your, I want to join your world, if you don't, or else. And it was things like that, and it was like, it was if the streamer doesn't play Minecraft with me, I'm unsubbing and I'm reporting this channel. And it was things like that, and it was, eventually I got bored of it because it was sort of just like a similar thing each time, if you get what I mean. But we'll do it eventually. We'll go back to that eventually. Blimey, my beard is so long. Jesus, sorry. I've got a really long beard at the moment, guys. But I'm not going to shave it because it's November. And it's starting to itch my neck. And it's starting to make my chin itch. Would you like to know the new movie I must watch on my phone? Of course. I might have heard of it. I might not have. Depends what film you're on. Depends what era it is. But then I am pretty knowledgeable with films. I've got a film to watch on my shelf, actually. I've got Citizen Kane to watch. I bought Citizen Kane a couple of months ago. I didn't realise that the guy that directed that, I think it was Orson Welles. Orson Welles was literally 26 when he directed that film. When Orson Welles made Citizen... All Quiet on the Western Front. Which one is that? Is that the 1951? Is that the... Which one is that? What is my favourite job? I've got that on DVD. Hold on, I've never watched it. I've got that one on DVD, actually. I've never watched it. Hold on a second, let me find it. I know I've got that on DVD, guys. I definitely have that on DVD. I bought it. I do have that on DVD. The 20 Edward Berger directed it. Let me just find it a sec, guys. I know it's somewhere. I've never watched it. I bought it, but I never. Let's just. There we go. Ooh. I know I have it. I know I have it. Netflix made it, but they brought it out on DVD. I don't know where it is, but I've definitely got it. No, that's 7 Worlds, 1 Planet. Yeah, generally I do have that film. I bought it like 2 years ago on DVD. Hello, Ghost Fort, welcome back. I definitely bought that film. I gotta be honest, guys. I have watched that film. I haven't watched it, but I had it on DVD. I bought it to watch. It's a very good film. It went to the Oscars. I bought it to watch, but I never got around to watching it. I'm just trying to find that in a minute. I know I had it. I know I've got it on DVD, guys. I know I got that film on DVD, Skatepunk, because I looked at it the other week and thought, never watched that. How did you do the TIE Fighter? Ooh. A magician never reveals his secrets, but I'll reveal it. Let's go to the TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter doesn't actually fly. I haven't watched it. I bought it on DVD to watch because I don't have Netflix. But then I've never watched it, but I know I've got the DVD somewhere. Because when you said All Quiet on the Western Front 2022, I'm like, I never directed that. It was Edward Berger. I found it. Yeah, I found it, guys. It was for All Quiet on the Western Front. Edward Berger, winner of seven BAFTAs, 4 including Best Film, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best International Feature Film, Best Cinematography. Yeah. Wait, here's you flight it then. It doesn't actually. It doesn't actually fly. Of course, it doesn't actually fly. What I've done is I've sat in the cockpit. We'll use these snow blocks. It doesn't actually fly. I'm not a genius. literally, guys, all I've done is done this and cut her. I just farted. All I've done is just sat in the cockpit. I've cut around. I've took a photo, cut the window out. I've cut the window out. All I've done with the TIE Fighter video is cut the window out, and then replaced it with a copy of this sword in creative. All I've done, literally, hello Double Angers, hello to in the game. What I've done is literally sat in the cockpit, cut around the image, and then I've gone to a creative copy and then flew, and then basically imported the image over. There you go. That's the grand thing of what I did, guys. All I did was a little bit of video editing. I just put an image over a video. And then I just put the TIE Fighter noise, which is actually an elephant's trunk. Yeah, it doesn't actually fly. The TIE Fighter doesn't actually fly. Like, it's just a cool video idea. I built a TIE Fighter, then I made it look like it can fly. I've done that with a boat. Santa's sleigh. Yeah, a masterpiece. All quite interesting front. It's based on the world-renowned bestseller of the same name. I knew I had the DVD. But yeah. Yes, the TIE Fighter didn't actually fly, guys. That was just me doing a bit of video editing. Maybe I'll do a video one day and I'll show you guys how I did it. So, what I did to do the one of Santa's sleigh on the old Minecraft house, I copied the world and had a creative copy where I built the sleigh over there. Why do you not have mobs? Because I'm in peaceful mode. I was building. When it comes to narrative structure films, in films or books, what do you think about the use of flashbacks? I like flashbacks, but I'm very much a believer in visual storytelling. I'm very much a believer in visual storytelling, so I think you should tell the story via visuals. So a flashback works really well. So I'm going to put something in my Discord server in the film section about one of my favourite uses of here. Davros shows the Doctor himself. That's the scene. The Children of Time. I think this is the scene. Basically, in Doctor Who used a really good piece of visual storytelling. To be flashbacks done quite well. So basically, what they did with Doctor Who is a real good example. They Davros and Doctor Who basically tells the Doctor shows him himself, and you have a flashback to all the people that had died over the previous 4 seasons. You had a flashback to all the people who died over the previous 4 seasons, and he says the reason you don't. Yeah. So Davros says to the Doctor, the man that doesn't carry a weapon, but what you do is you fashion ordinary people and turn them into weapons. And he suddenly flashes back, and he looks back over the last 4 seasons of the Russell T Davies era, so the Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant era, and he suddenly realizes that all the people that had died and sacrificed themselves in his name. And it's a really clever use of flashbacks. It's really clever with visual storytelling. You could have literally wrote it in that he sits down there and goes, Jenny, the tree woman, the face of Bo. All characters in the show, by the way, the face of Bo. Can't remember what the tree woman was called. Obviously Jenny. The other girl whose name escapes my mind. You could have wrote it down that he basically says the names, but no, he has flashbacks to seeing the names, seeing their faces, and I think that works much better. I think that works much better in the context. So I've just put it in my Discord server, guys. This is when flashbacks are used perfectly. Yeah, flashbacks work well. In a case, yeah, but sometimes flashbacks work quite well. So Christopher Nolan uses loads of flashbacks. But if you watch a Christopher Nolan film, Christopher Nolan plays around with time. So every film Christopher Nolan does, he does it out of sync. So, 1 minute in Oppenheimer, which is basically on about the guy that made the nuke, it flashes back to when he was when he was a student. It flashes back to when he was journeying across the world. Yeah, no, Back to the Future is not really flashbacks. That's not what a flashback goes for. Back to the Future is a film when he goes back in time. A flashback is where basically you see events in the past. You see, that's not what a flashback is. That's completely different. Here, this is what a flashback is. A flashback is a vivid, involuntary memory of the past event that can be real. Yeah, Back to the Future is not. Back to the Future is another, actually a good one. Flashback is not Back to the Future when he goes back in time. A flashback is when it's like a memory. So if you have a flashback of a memory that from 10 years ago, that is flashbacks are like a memory, the use of memories that tells the story. So basically, it works really well in Doctor Who. They used flashbacks, and he remembers memories of the characters that he met, who sacrificed himself, and basically if they flash in his mind as Davros basically tells him how he's failed. It's that's great visual storytelling. It's great visual storytelling. I hate storytelling where your character sits there and works it all out in dialogue, because I think it's lazy. I prefer storytelling where you see things. So, for example, something I really liked in the recent Doctor Who season, they flash to the toys. They flash to the toys, which are reminiscent of the monsters that the Donna and the Doctor fought in the David Tennant era, which is very, really clever. Rather than go, they represent the Rachnos, they represent the Ood, the Cybermen, the Daleks, the Jadoon. But no, you see it, and then you hear the voice. Why do I have 8 pins? I have no idea. Oh, my hand's sore. Right, so yeah, that's sort of why. But yeah, too many flashbacks can be annoying. Too many flashbacks can be annoying. Too many flashbacks can be Yeah, I agree. Too many flashbacks can be annoying. But flashbacks to previous events can also be quite useful. Well, non-linear. They're considered non-linear. They're considered non-linear because they're telling the story out of sync. In my head, they're considered non-linear because it's out of chronological order. But technically it can be linear because you're visualizing something. But it depends how you want to do the episode. One of my favourite Doctor Who episodes of all time is completely out of sync because you don't see the. One of my favourite Doctor Who episodes is completely out of sync because they're in a loop. Non-linear and linear are great things. I love linear, but non-linear is also really good. I'm not fussed, so what I can say is one of my favourite films in V for Vendetta uses a lot of flashbacks to tell the story because it's told linear, but they use a lot of flashbacks, which makes it non-linear as well. They use a lot of flashbacks to tell the story of what's happened beforehand. So at the start of the film, what's my favourite movie? Don't have one, but V for Vendetta is up there as one of my favourites. Because I have loads of favourites. So V for Vendetta, at the start of V for Ghostbusters, good film. I didn't like Afterlife. I thought Afterlife was boring. 30 minutes into Afterlife, I was really bored. I couldn't get into Afterlife. Ghostbusters 1 and 2 is good. The female one is terrible. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I started watching, but I couldn't do it. It was just it felt boring. Yeah, so talking about films though, V for Vendetta does it, Skate Punk, with like it's linear, but it's a linear story but with flashbacks. No, but it was a boring film. What was I thinking? Talking about non-linear V for Vendetta. At the start of V for Vendetta, you're just as clueless as the audience. You're part of the propaganda. At the start of V for Vendetta, you're believing the propaganda too. You're believing that V for Vendetta is a monster. And towards the end of the film, once people start realizing that V for Vendetta is not a monster, we're starting to not believe that he's a monster. At the start, we very much believe the propaganda. At the start of that film, we very much believe the propaganda that the film is showing us. And through the use of flashbacks, we're starting to see that the government is actually the monster and that V for Vendetta is actually the good guy. Which is a really clever way of doing it. And I really like the narrative of that film and how they've done that. The use of flashbacks in that film shows about how the use of flashbacks in V for Vendetta is really powerful because the whole point of that film is he's chasing down people that have wronged him. Oh. Do. So, I want to do that, guys. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I'm gonna finish that. I'm gonna relaunch the film review podcast, and this time we're gonna do V for Vendetta. I've just been trying to do that film for ages. I will end this stream in a minute, guys, because I've been streaming for 3 hours. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.